Evil was not invented in the 18th century. It was rebranded. The architects of terror and the masters of deception did not suddenly spring forth from the Enlightenment, fully formed and eager to subvert the world. No, the corruption is far older, a primordial stain that has seeped to the bedrock of history itself. The malevolence we grapple with today is merely the latest iteration, a modern franchise built upon an ancient blueprint. It's a poison that has been meticulously refined, repackaged, and resold to every generation, each time with a more seductive label. What we call progress, they call a new market. What we call revolution, they call a hostile takeover. They don't create, they corrupt. They don't build. They infiltrate and repurpose. The evil of our time is not a new invention. It is a timeless entity wearing a contemporary mask, whispering the same old lies into a microphone instead of a seashell. The first murder was not a crime of passion. It was also the first conspiracy. Cain did not merely strike his brother in a fit of rage. He entered into a covenant with a power that lurked just beyond the veil of the physical world. His was an act of premeditated rebellion, a conscious decision to align with the forces that opposed creation itself. He became the first initiate, the founder of a brotherhood bound not by blood, but by blood spilt. The secret was the act, and the pact was sealed in the earth that drank Abel's life. This was the genesis of all secret societies, a hidden knowledge, a forbidden act, and a promise of power whispered from the shadows. The conspiracy wasn't against Abel. It was against God. It was a declaration that man, guided by a darker wisdom, could chart his own course, build his own kingdom, and define his own morality, even if it meant extinguishing the divine spark in his brother. Every secret society is a reboot of the same ancient operating system. From the smoke-filled lodges of Bavaria to the cloistered halls of Yale, the core programming remains unchanged. They are all branches of the same poison tree, drawing sustenance from the same corrupted root. The rituals may change, the symbols may be recodified, and the names on the membership rolls may be updated for a new era. But the underlying algorithm is identical. It is a system designed to accumulate power, hoard forbidden knowledge, and steer the course of human history from behind a curtain manufactured reality. Each new order, whether it calls itself the Knights Templar, the Rosicrucians, or the Order of the Skull and Bones, is simply a new user interface for the same sinister software. They are all running Cain's original code, the promise that through a secret initiation and a pact with unseen forces, man can become his own god. The blueprint for this system was laid down in the mists of prehistory. The Watchers taught, Cain obeyed, Nimrod scaled. The fallen angels provided the initial download of forbidden knowledge, the arts of war, the sciences of seduction, the architecture of control. Cain was the first to execute the program, demonstrating that the ultimate act of loyalty to this new system was the ultimate act of betrayal against divine law. But it was Nimrod who scaled the operation. He was the first great CEO of the occult, the master organizer who took the raw, chaotic power of the Watchers' teachings and structured it into an empire. At Babel, he didn't just build a tower of brick and mortar. He constructed the first globalist corporation, a multinational enterprise dedicated to storming the heavens and supplanting God's authority with a centralized, man-made dominion. He turned the secret pact into a state religion and the hidden knowledge into a system of global governance. The mystery religions didn't die, they went underground. When the great empires of Babylon, Egypt, and Rome crumbled, the priesthood of the serpent did not perish in the rubble. They simply packed their secrets and moved into the catacombs of the collective psyche. They traded their public temples for hidden groves, their grand processions for clandestine meetings. The rites of Isis, the cult of Mithras, the Eleusinian mysteries, they all dissolved into the stream of history, only to re-emerge time and again, cloaked in new philosophies and bearing new names. Gnosticism, Hermeticism, alchemy, these were not new schools of thought, but the old religion wearing a scholar's robes. They became a shadow tradition, a parasitic vine clinging to the great faiths of the world, whispering their dualistic heresies into the ears of monks, philosophers, and kings. They mastered the art of survival through infiltration, ensuring their ancient operating system would continue running silently in the background, waiting for the right moment to seize control of the host. 1776. The year the old serpent got a new suit and an American address. While the common man fought for liberty and justice, a different kind of revolution was being codified in the backrooms and lodges of the New World. The year that birthed the United States of America also saw the formal founding of the Bavarian Illuminati, a society dedicated to the systematic overthrow of all thrones and altars. It was a perfect confluence, a dual-track operation. On the surface, a nation conceived in liberty, but in the hidden architecture, in the very bedrock of its founding, the old symbols were being laid. The architects of this new world were steeped in the esoteric traditions that had flowed from Babylon and Egypt through the Templars and the Rosicrucians. They spoke of reason and enlightenment, but they encoded their structures with the geometry of the mystery schools. The serpent had not been banished from this new Eden. It had been given a title, a plot of land, and a seat at the signing of the Declaration. The symbols never changed. Only the business cards did. The all-seeing eye of Horus, once peering from the top of an Egyptian pyramid, now found a new home on the back of a dollar bill. The obelisk, a phallic monument to the sun god, Ra, was resurrected in the capitals of the world, from Washington, D.C. to the Vatican. The pentagram, the hexagram, the eagle, the phoenix, the entire lexicon of the ancient cults was seamlessly integrated into the iconography of the modern state. The priest in his robe was replaced by the banker in his suit. The Grand Master of the lodge became the chairman of the board. The sacrificial altar was traded for the trading floor of the stock exchange, where nations and lives are bought and sold with the same cold, ritualistic detachment. The power structure simply updated its public relations department, hiding its true nature in plain sight, confident that the uninitiated masses would see the symbols but never read the language. Their offspring, the Nephilim, became the mighty men of renown. These were the demigods of antiquity, the titans and heroes whose legends echo in every mythology. They were the result of a forbidden union, a catastrophic blending of the celestial and the terrestrial. They were giants in both stature and ambition, possessing a power and a pride that the world had never seen. Their legacy is not just in ancient stone circles or buried megaliths. It is in the very DNA of the ambition that drives the great men of history. The desire to transcend the human condition, to achieve godlike power, to dominate the earth and bend it to their will. This is the echo of the Nephilim. Every tyrant who builds a colossal monument to himself, every scientist who seeks to unlock the secrets of life to achieve immortality, every magnate who amasses wealth and power beyond all reason, they are all chasing that same shadow. They are the spiritual descendants of the mighty men of renown. Every ancient culture remembers them as gods. From the Apkallu of Mesopotamia to the Viracochas of the Andes, the memory of these powerful beings who descended from the heavens to teach mankind is universal. They are remembered as culture bearers, bringers of civilization, but also as cruel masters and insatiable tyrants. They gave man the tools to build cities and the weapons to destroy them in a single stroke. This was the poisoned gift of the Watchers, delivered by their formidable sons. When God wiped the earth clean with a great flood, these entities were not entirely erased. The Watchers were bound in chains beneath the desert, imprisoned in darkness until the final judgment. But their knowledge, the corrupting code they had unleashed upon the world, was not. It survived. It survived in the minds of men in whispered legends, in secret texts, waiting for a new world to infect. The deluge washed the slate, but it did not delete the file. And from those first post-flood kingdoms, the ancient operating system began to reboot, and the great work of the secret societies began anew.